down the fundamental learnings that I had, the number one learning that I had is that never get overawed by your challenges, but can you find an opportunity within your challenge? Let me give you an example. In 2013, NLEM hit us. And, we talked about this brand Plavix, which became a 20 crore brand from a 3 crore brand. It was the year 2013. And suddenly there was a huge drop in price because of the NLEM policy of our Indian government. And the price came down by 90%. So you can imagine overnight, the brand loses its revenue from a 20 crore brand to a 2 crore brand. Now, this was a great challenge for us, but luckily we were anticipating it and we knew that it's a matter of time before it comes into the ambit of price control to the NLEM policies. So we didn't look at the problem. We said, come on, what's the challenge? What's the opportunity? Now, when we look at our core prescribers, for the 20 crore brand at 120 rupees, you won't believe we had only 200 doctors who were prescribing Plavix. And the universe of intervention cardiologists is around 6,000. So we thought to ourselves, the remaining 5,500 cardiologists are not using it, or they are restricting the usage because of affordability, and rightly so, because the cost of the angioplasty alone ranges from 3 lakhs to even 7-8 lakhs. So they will limit the use of such costly products in the interest of the patient. But now you have the brand that has come down to the level of 12 rupees a tablet. And here it is much more affordable. So we went down to the bottom of the pyramid in a very step-by-step fashion. So we looked at the opportunity that is there. The first opportunity was, of course, the intervention cardiologists, the remaining 5,500 who were not our prescribers. So that was the big opportunity where we focused on. So we made that as a choice. Then behind that, there was, or below that, there was this entire population of physicians. So we thought to ourselves, we'll not go into the area of physicians, medical management. So see, when you're talking about your strategy, you distill down your choices and you have to be very clear of where you will play and where you will not play. And we made a very important choice. It was very easy for us to say that we will also go all out to the physicians. We will go to the next chunk of intervention cardiologists, but we said, no, let us not go to the physicians. Why? Because physicians still have brands which are 3 rupees and 4 rupees, and 12 rupees is still a premium for them. So that was a choice we made. And we focused very much on this level of second tier intervention cardiologists. We told them that we have not compromised on the quality. That's another very important decision that we took. We could have succumbed to the temptation of doing a local manufacture to save on our profitability, but we didn't do that because we realized that the trust and confidence and equity of Plavix was built around the fact of its quality by virtue of it being imported, from our parent company. So we didn't compromise on that. We continued to import it. It was a premium at a much lower price. So the quality was intact, and we gave a lot of confidence, to the end users, particularly the second choice of intervention cardiologists. And they picked up the product, and we had an ambition of increasing volume tenfold in 2 years because we had a 90% dip, and to recover that baseline, we had to grow volume tenfold. So that was the equation that was needed. We gave our team the challenge of doing it in 2 years, and we did it in 1.5 years.
Wow, wonderful.
So the first learning that I got is that don't be overawed by your challenges, but take some time and have the patience to find opportunities and make these opportunities address your challenges. That's point number one, which is very, very important.
Right.
The second thing is, Shailesh, in marketing, whatever you do, you've got to measure what you do. See, today, every marketer faces a classical dilemma. Out of 100 rupees that you spend, you don't know which part of the money is actually giving you the traction and which part is getting wasted. So you require some kind of a wisdom to understand what is working and what is not really working. So for that, you need to have your antennas open in terms of moving in the marketplace, getting some kind of a response from your doctors in terms of how do they perceive these things, and try to form your own judgment into what is really cutting ice or resonating with the doctors and what is not really resonating with them. It's a matter of judgment and experience that you have. There is no really hardcore formula that I can suggest where you know what part of your revenue is giving you the returns and what part of your revenue is going waste. But it requires a lot of your experience. It requires your judgment. It requires you moving in the market and having an interface with your customers. So whatever you do, whatever initiatives you embark on, measure it. Try to find out, how are the prescriptions tracking? Get to the specialties which you're targeting. Do you think you're having some kind of an impact at the level of these specialties in terms of the prescriber base, in terms of the prescriptions? So the concept of measuring what you do is absolutely very, very important. The third element is that one should not be looking inward. So rather than looking inside out, you should look outside in. Like if you go to the first part of our discussion, as I said, every marketer needs to understand the milieu in which your molecule or your products get used for different kind of patients. So what are the drivers that influence the treatment algorithms? Are doctors really following guideline based protocols? If not, you have an opportunity by way of education. Try to unearth customer preferences, why they are doing what they are doing, and what is it that is acting as a barrier for usage of your brands. So this was another big learning for me, that one has to be outside in rather than all the time being inside out. So you need to find that blend between being inside out and outside in. If you go on your set practices of what you've done in the past, maybe they would have been very successful, but you will replicate the same model. But if you have to think out of the box, if you have to grow disproportionately, if you have to really optimize the full scale of the opportunities and potential in the market, one has to be outward in rather than being inside out.